Hello and welcome to Binge Breakdown. In today's video we will discuss the story of a high school chemistry teacher who is diagnosed with stage 3 cancer and turns to cooking and selling methamphetamine as a way to pay for his medical bills and provide for his family after he is gone. In the pilot episode of Breaking Bad, high school chemistry teacher Walter White is diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. He is struggling to make ends meet and provide for his pregnant wife, Skyla, and his disabled son, Walter Jr. Feeling desperate and alone, Walter turns to a former student, Jesse Pinkman, who is now a small-time methamphetamine dealer. Together, they cook and sell methamphetamine in order to secure Walter's family's financial future before he dies. As they begin their new business venture, they run into several challenges, including a rival drug dealer, the danger of getting caught, and the difficulties of producing high-quality meth. Despite these challenges, Walter and Jesse are able to successfully cook and sell their first batch of meth. As the episode comes to a close, we see Walter's transformation from a struggling high school chemistry teacher to a methamphetamine producer, as he takes his first steps down a dark and dangerous path. In the second episode of Breaking Bad, titled The Cat's in the Bag, main character Walter White's descent into the criminal world continues. After cooking his first batch of methamphetamine in the pilot episode, Walter and his partner Jesse Pinkman are now trying to figure out how to sell the product. Meanwhile, Walter's brother-in-law Hank, a DEA agent, is investigating a string of meth-related deaths and is getting closer to discovering the truth about Walter's involvement. At the same time, Walter's cancer diagnosis is weighing heavily on him and he is struggling to provide for his family financially. He becomes desperate and agrees to sell the meth to a group of dealers, even though he knows it is dangerous. However, things do not go according to plan when one of the dealers, Crazy 8, becomes suspicious and refuses to pay for the product. Jesse and Walter are forced to dispose of Crazy 8's body in a gruesome scene, solidifying their roles as criminals. The episode ends with Hank finding out about Walter's involvement in the meth world and confront him, leading to a tense confrontation between the two. In episode 3 of Breaking Bad, titled And the Bags in the River, Walter White is struggling with the guilt of his involvement in the meth business. He has a confrontation with his former business partner, Crazy 8, who is demanding a cut of the profits. Meanwhile, Skyla, Walter's wife, is struggling with her own feelings of guilt and betrayal as she begins to suspect that her husband is involved in illegal activities. She confronts him, but he lies and denies any wrongdoing. As Walter tries to navigate the dangerous world of drug trafficking, he also has to deal with the challenges of being a high school chemistry teacher. He is struggling to connect with his students, and his lack of discipline and control in the classroom is causing problems. In the end, Walter is forced to make a difficult decision when Crazy 8 threatens to reveal the truth about his involvement in the meth business. He ultimately chooses to kill Crazy 8 in self-defense, further deepening his descent into the criminal world. In episode 4 of Breaking Bad, titled Cancer Man, we see Walter White struggling with his cancer diagnosis and the financial burden it has placed on his family. He begins to contemplate breaking the law in order to provide for them once he's gone. Meanwhile, Jesse Pinkman, Walter's former student and business partner, is struggling with his own demons and trying to escape the grip of a powerful drug dealer. He enlists the help of Walter, who agrees to cook methamphetamine for the dealer in exchange for money. As the two men dive deeper into the dangerous world of drug trafficking, they must navigate their own morals and the threat of being caught by law enforcement. The episode ends with Walter and Jesse successfully cooking their first batch of meth and making a deal to sell it to the drug dealer. In episode 5 of Breaking Bad, titled Gray Matter, Walter White's past comes back to haunt him when his former business partner, Elliot, invites him to his birthday party. At the party, Walter is confronted by his former girlfriend, Gretchen, who he had a falling out with and left behind when he became a high school chemistry teacher. Gretchen and her husband, Elliot, are now wealthy and successful thanks to their company, gray matter technologies, which they started with the money they received from selling the company to a larger corporation. They offer to give Walter a share of the profits, but he refuses, feeling bitter and resentful towards them. Meanwhile, Walter's brother-in-law, Hank, is still investigating the meth lab explosion and begins to suspect Walter's involvement. He even goes so far as to search Walter's car, but finds nothing. As the episode comes to a close, Walter and Gretchen have a heated confrontation at the party, with Walter telling her that he doesn't want her charity and that he's not the same person he used to be. He then storms out of the party and drives away, leaving Gretchen and Elliot behind. In the 6th episode of Breaking Bad, titled Crazy Handful of Nothin', Walter White's meth-making operation is threatened when a rival drug dealer named Tuco Salamanca demands a larger cut of the profits. Walter and his partner Jesse Pinkman try to come up with a plan to outsmart Tuco, but things become more complicated when Tuco's uncle, Hector Salamanca, arrives on the scene. Meanwhile, Walter's family life continues to deteriorate as his wife Skyla becomes suspicious of his strange behavior, and late nights at the lab she begins to do some digging and discovers that Walter has been using their son's cancer treatment money to fund his meth operation. In the end, Tuco becomes increasingly violent and unpredictable, leading to a tense and dangerous confrontation between him and Walter. In a desperate move, Walter blows up Tuco's office with a homemade bomb, narrowly escaping with his life. As the episode ends, Walter is left wondering if he has finally crossed a line that he can never come back from. In the 7th episode of Breaking Bad, titled A No Rough Stuff Type Deal, Walter White continues to cook and sell methamphetamine with his former student, Jesse Pinkman. The episode begins with Walter and Jesse preparing a batch of meth, but they are interrupted by the arrival of a man named Crazy 8, who claims to be a cousin of a drug dealer that they had previously worked with. Crazy 8 offers to distribute their meth in exchange for a percentage of the profits, but Walter and Jesse are hesitant to trust him. Meanwhile, Walter's brother-in-law Hank, a DEA agent, is investigating a local methamphetamine operation and becomes suspicious of Walter's involvement. Hank confronts Walter and warns him to stay away from the drug business, but Walter denies any involvement. Despite their initial reluctance, Walter and Jesse agree to Crazy 8's deal and set up a meeting to discuss the details. However, things take a turn for the worse when Crazy 8 reveals that he has a hidden camera in his car and plans to use it to blackmail Walter and Jesse into working for him. In a tense confrontation, Walter and Jesse manage to turn the tables on Crazy 8 and hold him captive in their makeshift lab. As they try to decide what to do with him, Walter realizes that Crazy 8 is the nephew of a powerful drug lord and that they are in serious danger. In the end, Walter makes the difficult decision to kill Crazy 8 in self-defense, leading him down a dark path of criminal activity and setting the stage for the rest of the series. Check out the second part of the story to know how Walter White and Jesse Pinkman figure out how to dispose of a dead drug dealer's body. Make sure to like this video, click the subscribe button and notification bell icon so you never miss any videos from our channel.